Hey guys, there is not too much to update on Doc. Um, what was it? Wednesday was really crazy. Yesterday was somewhat crazy, but not too bad. Now since we're coming down off that peak rough high, we're just slowly trying to wean him off the ventilator. Sorry, I've got a stray hair. um, just wean him off the ventilator so he can take more breaths on his own versus the ventilator doing all the breaths for him. He's still doing dialysis, but they're going to start trying to, I think tomorrow, cut it off and keep a real close eye on his lab work to see if his body can start doing what the dialysis has been doing on his own. So it's just going to be a quiet weekend. On Sunday, they're going to start giving him the not the actual chemo, the real chemo. Yeah, that just made my hair worse. Sorry. The pre-chemo stuff. Although the oncologists they call it all chemo. But I kind of would like to think of it as pre-chemo since it's not the actual chemo drug. But he starts that on Sunday. They're hoping that by Tuesday, so Monday, Tuesday is going to start ramp up. Tuesday is really going to be a crazy day because they're hoping to take his dialysis port out, his PICC line out. Let's see, I don't know about both of his IVs, but he'll definitely need one IV, I know. But I don't know if they'll leave the other one in or not. And get him off the ventilator completely and go ahead and wake him up. But they'll also, the plan is Tuesday to put in a port underneath the skin, right around here, right under his breastbone, or collarbone, not breastbone, sorry. And that is where he'll get all of his chemo treatments from now on. So, all that stuff is planned tentatively, depending on how this weekend goes, for Tuesday. Wednesday, he will get his next chemo treatment. And so then, Tuesday, Wednesday will be our peak busy days as far as that goes. And then, Thursday, Friday, coming on down, and the tentative day for us to be able to leave is either the following Monday or Tuesday, the 22nd or 23rd. So we unfortunately will be in the hospital for Father's Day, but it is what it is. He still looks kind of, cyborgy-ish with all the tubes coming out of him and everything. But I will say his color, I know I've said it before probably, but his color is so much better today. I just didn't realize, I guess since it was a slow build-up, just how much fluid he had retained. Today I got a good look at his belly, and his belly's flat. There's no little hump on his belly that you could see you can't even see the tumor hump anymore on his belly. So that is completely shrunk. So that just shows that little half dose of chemo he got Tuesday, Wednesday has done so much work. It's just amazing how much his swelling and everything has gone down with, just these couple of days of treatments. Yeah, everything looks scary when you walk into his room because you have the dialysis machine and you see, catheter or lines running in and out of it, and seeing blood in it. And then you have his ventilator that has, 2 wires coming out of it and going in his mouth. And then he has it, oh yes, they also inserted a feeding tube in his nose so he could start getting, it's kind of basically Pediasure. but they're hoping by tomorrow to get him up to 35 milliliters per hour feed on the Pediasure, and that can help build up calories and everything like that. And they said just giving them something like that and getting it in their stomach just helps so much. Just that little bit of calories and everything, starts ramping up, your body saying, hey, I'm sick, I need to get better, fight it and get better. So hopefully we can get, for the most part, like I said, on Tuesday, most if not all the wires coming off and tubes and everything coming off, and his port tentatively going in, and he'll have that for the rest of the chemo. That's where the chemo will go in and out. It'll just be one needle prick, instead of having to do an IV every single time. So that's so much easier. As far as his blood work goes, most of it is coming back into his, I call it his new normal. So with him, his levels aren't going to be quite the same as a healthy 2-year-old. So his numbers are going to be a little bit different, but most of them are coming within normal, healthy range. I do know his phosphorus is what we're really worried about, and it has come down so much. At first they were worried about potassium, and potassium has pretty well stayed the same, but his phosphorus, they told us a dangerously high level for phosphorus was a 9 or a 10. His got up to an 18.5 at one point before they started the dialysis. So that was just showing that his poor little kidney was overworked, and that's what jump-started the dialysis, is because it showed that his poor little kidney was so overworked that it couldn't filter it out on its own. So I think they said at his last labs before we left for the night was 7.6, so that's back in a normal range. There's some things that have kind of went back up again, but that's to be expected and normal and everything. Now, the one thing is, the little stink bug is, they don't have him like truly under to where he can't wake up, but it's just kind of like a deep sleep, basically. He keeps fighting it, so he's waking up, and with that tube in his neck, they want him to keep it still because, like I said, it could cause a major bleed. Well, he starts thrashing around, turning his head and everything like that. So he's fought it really hard today, harder than yesterday. Because I think he's like, oh, it's sunlight, I'm supposed to be awake. I hear mommy, I hear daddy. But otherwise, we're trucking right along. Everything is exactly where the doctors thought we would be so far. It's just, it's hard to believe that it's already Friday. It doesn't seem like it. It feels like it's a dream, just running one day into another. But like I said, I don't know when I'll post again on YouTube here, because like I said, it's supposed to be a quiet, well, I said it and I shouldn't have, a calm weekend that we know of. So we came home for a little bit, me and Bradley, and I took care of the garden because the poor garden's wilting. Bless his heart, it hadn't had water in a couple of days because there's been nobody to come over here and water it, and we were basically on nothing on clothes, so we have to do laundry. That's the main reason that we came home, is we had zilch for clothes as far as that goes. But probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, I'll update again as far as here on YouTube with a longer video. otherwise, you can either see Instagram, little Instagram stories, or they go on Facebook as well. So hopefully everything will go to plan, and we'll be able to hopefully by next Tuesday at the latest, we'll get to see our baby's eyes again and have him talking to us and everything. So I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.